Well, look, Messi, te digo, Messi can actually cover himself with two hands, and nothing would happen. USA! USA! Man, I gotta tell you, I was a little bit nervous after watching the great game they had the first time, thinking, oh, are they gonna be able to do the same thing to put it down, especially without Pulisic. But man, I gotta tell you, I'm pleasantly surprised. What are your thoughts, bro?
Dude, same as you. You know what? I think it'd been since the 1930s that the U.S. team hadn't won back-to-back games. Securing a spot in the next round, being one of the first teams to do it, getting the first position. Like, it doesn't get better than that, man. It doesn't get better.
Right, and I gotta tell you, Australia, they're a good team. They won their first match by 2 goals, so it wasn't like like other teams. I'm not gonna name them. Like they are playing against. Lesser competition. The U.S. has put it down. I'm very, very happy, very excited for what's to come. What did you think about Pepe, replacing Pulisic in the starting 11?
Dude, I thought, honestly, I thought we were going to miss him a lot, Pulisic I'm talking about, and I feel like we didn't. You know what I mean? Like, the team played very well. I have always thought that Christian is like the driving force, that kind of like the little engine and motor that drives the entire system. And yesterday, they proved me wrong. They proved otherwise. It's definitely a plus when we have him, but we can also play without him, which is a really refreshing thing to see.
And I think that also, aside from the play, the U.S. are the leaders at something. You know what? You know what they're leading on right now?
Talk to me.
The stats don't lie. 2 auto goals, baby. 2 auto goals. So listen, this is what's up with that. I think before I tell you what I'm going to say, are you happy with how they played? Do you feel like it was still at the same level that they played last time, or you felt it was a little different?
I didn't think it was quite the same, but I also thought that Australia was a better team that they were playing against. So, it wasn't just the U.S. not being up to par. To me, they were playing a better team. So
controversial. So you think Australia is better than Paraguay?
I thought they played better than Paraguay against the U.S.
Okay.
I thought Paraguay was very, very, very disorganized game 1. Yesterday, they were a little more organized, but Australia played better than their second game than Paraguay played their first. So,
yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that they clearly didn't play as well as they played the first game. They didn't have that many chances. They didn't. But the drive was still there. The hunger, like you called it last time. And I think that that's the reward. And it's a life lesson. Ding, ding, ding. Here you go, bro. I'm going to give you a nice little life lesson. When you're trying, when you're going, when your fire is towards something, something's bound to happen. It wasn't like they planned. It wasn't like they set up the place. It was auto goals, right? Yeah. Own goals. But it was because they were trying. They weren't pretty, but they were still goals. So I think it's just a nice lesson of like, you got to go for it. There's a lot of teams in this World Cup that are not going for it, that have the opportunity to like put games away, and they're just staying still. This was the complete opposite. Okay, we may not have the talent, we may not have the same amount of collective play that we had in the first game, but we're still gonna make it happen somehow, and they did.
And I hope, and I think this is what we were talking about last time with Pochettino, and how whatever he's saying is working in the locker room. I hope that they are able to carry that through not the next game, but once we get into the next stage and the next phase of the World Cup. You know what I mean? Because it's a whole different story when it's sudden death. When if you lose, you go home. You know what I mean? Like that, the stakes get a lot higher. And I feel like a lot of these kids are early 20s. They've never been to a World Cup. Pochettino is coaching them for the first time. Like, it might get a little dirty. I hope that he is experienced enough, but I hope he can sort of give them that confidence that they need once we get to that stage.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the next coming game just in a second. But before that, before we were coming on, you were telling me that this is the first time that U.S. made history, basically, yesterday, no?
They did. I mean, they did. I think it's the first time. I mean, I know they hadn't won back-to-back games since the 1930s, but I think it's the first time that they made it as first of their groups so early in the World Cup ever.
It's such a great feeling. I didn't know the stats. The stat you just told me, I didn't know it, but it there is a different feeling about this U.S. team, right? Like the other previous World Cups is like Avenida, it's never easy. Like you mentioned, these are the first 2 wins in a row in a group stage. Like before, we didn't have that. It's just like maybe one win, y quizá el otro más o menos. It's such a great feeling to see the U.S. play this way. And I got to tell you, after watching this second game, I think they may be a dark horse candidate. What do you think?
I would agree with you, but I just think that we need to not get on the horse before we put the saddle on. You know what I mean?
Getting
Like, I
too
think
crazy.
huh?
Am I getting too crazy? Am I like?
No, I don't think you're getting too crazy. I think you're being optimistic, and I love that. I love that about us in general. And when I say us, I mean the country. Like I love that we are optimistic like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen there's a commercial, a World Cup commercial going on right now where it's two friends, and one of them is telling him what he thinks would happen if the US won the World Cup. I don't know if you've
I
seen
haven't
it.
seen it. No,
And
tell me.
and
For
he's
everybody who
like,
hasn't.
he's like, Texas would run out of beer, and New York everybody would be super nice, and nobody would be mad, and da 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 da. And it's a bunch of things that would never happen, like Texas running out of beer. And then at the end of the commercial, the other guy's like, "Man, get out of here!" Like, so you're saying that the World Cup could potentially win? And then they cut to the hockey player from the '80s when they beat the Soviet Union, the Miracle, and he's like,
Miracle on Ice. Miracle on Ice.
Yes, that one. And he's like, "Hey, you don't believe in miracles?" And then he turns around and walks away. And it's one of those things that's very American. It's like, yeah, man, we could, like, this could happen, and this could happen, and this could happen. And I agree, but I just want to be a little bit cautious. Like, I don't want us to get disappointed. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, I am optimistic, but I'm not saying they could win it. I'm just thinking they could go far. They can be one of these dark horses because you got to also consider that they're playing at home. That's
true.
a huge advantage.
That's true. Yeah.
But going back to that commercial, I doubt that stuff is going to happen or would happen, considering that the New York Knicks just won, and that's all the madness that you were expecting was basically kind of like, I don't think I don't think so. But it's wishful thinking, and it's an awesome commercial from what it sounds like.
And it's super funny. It's super funny. And it's like, yep, I mean, let's have the hope. Let's have the optimism, but let's also be a little bit cautious and realistic so that we don't get disappointed if they can't make it all the way. You know what I mean? Like, I think if the US makes it to the quarterfinals, that's a great World Cup. It's a great World Cup. Like, I think it's a little bit outside of realistic expectations for them to win the whole thing. But if we get to the quarterfinals, I'm happy. I'm happy. And
I'm
they
thinking
have another
semifinals, though, Kadyr. They've already made it to the quarterfinals. I'm thinking
No.
semifinals.
No. This is, it's the 32s. Remember, there's an extra game now. So now they go to the 32.
That's right.
Then they go to the round of 16, which is the quarterfinals.
Gotcha. So the quarterfinal back then, it would be like the semifinals now or something like that, right? Kind of.
It's just an extra sudden death game that they have to win after the group stage is over. So before they only needed to win 4 more, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, now they need to win an extra game, which means you have to make it through one more layer of sudden death, which is hard.
All right, so now I'm going to put you in the seat, okay?
Do it.
I'm going to put you in the coach seat, in the U.S. coach seat, without all the millions that they're paying them, okay? Is that cool? Is that cool?
Sure, let's play it.
All right. Who do you rest for this last game against Turkey? What do you do?
Who do I rest?
Yeah, what a great players, the U.S. players.
What a great
They've already qualified to the next round. They play against Turkey. Turkey's already eliminated. Do you rest any players? Who do you play?
I think Christian stays on the bench so that he can rest. But here's how I feel like these teams should approach the World Cup if you're having a realistic expectation. I think you get into a groove. I think you get into a mood, into like a system. And I think those coaches that make 9, 10 subs from one game to the next, and then they go back to their original starters, make mistakes. So I wouldn't rest them. I would play them maybe one half, maybe the first or second half. Maybe I would rest a couple of them, but the majority would play. Like, let's keep everything the same because it's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's my approach.
So the only one that I would play that I was disappointed in play was Reina. Reina
But
came in the 90. He came in the like 90th, 98, 9th minute. He came in to
yeah.
basically take a shower. You know,
Yeah, he came on to
quizá
say
el
he played.
compadre es súper hediondo, weón. No sé quién sabe. Maybe the coach is like, dude, this guy stinks. He needs to take. This is the only way to get him to take a shower.
I
But
do
like,
think Pochettino. I do think Pochettino is going to make a lot of subs. I hope he doesn't sub the whole team. You know what I mean?
sure, sure. I think so. So we are definitely happy. The U.S. is moving on. Of course, we're all excited about that. Now let's move on to the next game, which happened
Okay.
to be Paraguay and Turkey. Okay, from the same. Okay, what are
Group,
you feeling? I'm looking at your face. As
dude.
soon as the Paraguay Turkey, what are your thoughts?
It was one of the best second halves I've seen this World Cup. It was one of the best second halves I've seen. Like Paraguay scored very early in the
Like
game, which already
first
changes
minute,
the dynamic. Yeah.
first minute.
Very, very, very early. So it changes the dynamic. So you think either Paraguay is going to continue to press because now they're a goal ahead, or Turkey is going to try and like, we can't lose this game. We got to just kind of go at it and see what happens and do a Hail Mary. That didn't happen the first half for me. But the second half, Turkey, I think, realized, holy shit, if we don't do something drastic, we're out. So they, like I say, they threw all of the meat on the grill. And, they just like, they were sizzling that second half. And Paraguay was defending like they do. Dirty, disorganized. It almost didn't, it looked like they didn't know what they were doing, but it freaking worked. It freaking worked. So
It always does.
I'm telling you, I think last time we talked, I said they play to not play.
Yeah.
And it was very much like that, but in a very Paraguayan style way, which I think it's in their own little way, good for them because it works. It works.
It works. They've had success in history because of that. La
Exactly.
Paraguaya is a real thing. No es como el chupacabras. It's like the Paraguayan myth actually exists. The
Yeah,
anti-football thing, it's like we're hating as soccer fans, sure, football fans, absolutely. But as people who want their team to win, absolutely not. It works for them. That's their style. You have to see your strengths. You have to see your weaknesses. In this case, hey, their strength is their defense, their structured defense, and to make, anti-football plays and just basically allow the team to have the ball and then just see what happens. This was such a weird game
let
because
me
when
ask
you
you.
have,
Let me ask
sure,
you a question because
dale,
I think when you say this was weird, I agree, but I want your opinion in two things.
dale.
The first quick one: do you think that red card should have been a red card, and why?
Okay. Well, I think, this is because of this new rule where you can't talk like this.
Right, right.
This might be controversial, but I fucking love it.
Really?
I freaking love it.
Okay.
I hate dirty stuff. I hate dirty stuff in games. I heard
Mhm.
like all that stuff where you could say this and then you can possibly lie and said, oh, he said this to me, talked about my mother, but they really don't. It's like all of that shit stops when you can't cover your mouth anymore. It's done.
It's
He
true.
knew the rules. He knew the rules. And
You-
si todavía quiere ser el weoncito, if he still wants to do that and
But
jeopardize his team at the biggest stage in the World Cup, he deserves to be sent off. I am glad
but
they made an example out of him. I am sorry that it happened
as-
Paraguay. Obviously, I love all the Paraguayan people, and they had great expectations. At the end of the day, they got the results. They got the win. They lose
yeah.
potentially their best player, but I am glad I'm glad that happened. What do you think?
Well, I think, like you say, rules are rules, but I do think in this particular case, that rule, I think FIFA went a little bit over the top with it. I'm like, I agree with you. Like, I don't want people talking shit, whether do this, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, like, is it really like saying something mean to you in the middle of the game and now my team having to play a whole half a man down? Like, is it, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the punishment is way too much for the penalty is way too big for what they did.
PP, bro. PP. Por
Yeah,
pendejo.
sure, sure. I
That's
mean,
it.
like I said,
Por
rules are
pendejo.
rules. Yes, but I think, yeah, you're right. They made an example out of him, and it sucks. But I guess that serves the future because nobody else is gonna do it. I don't think.
Look, it's so interesting because in this World Cup, we're seeing this new rules implemented and like, oh, how you can only do certain things in 10 seconds. And so I don't know if I'm right. Please correct me, Kadir. The only ones who are allowed to be on the pitch, like just pretending to be injured or injured, are goalies, right?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Because this has to be the World Cup where I've seen the most goalies on the floor. Coincidence? Right?
I think not. I think not.
Correct. So you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna you're gonna quit that shit very quick if you start implementing things. The same way with this, the same way with that. But I
Yeah.
tell you one thing, brother, and I know that you won't agree with me on this.
Oh,
If this was Messi, oh, not even a yellow card, nothing. Oh, dele, no, diga lo que quiera. Say what you want, Messi.
actually, no. I think if it's going to apply to one, it needs to apply to everyone, regardless
Sure,
of who you are.
on
Yeah.
theory. But if it happened to Messi, oh no,
You don't
Messi
think you
estaría,
don't you don't you don't think they would
Messi
have
would be like
sent him
this.
out?
No, no, of course not. Messi could say whatever Messi could do whatever he wants. He could do this, he could, whatever.
Well,
He
I
could-
really,
he
I hope he doesn't do that. I really hope he doesn't do that. But if he does do it, I do hope they give him a red card.
well, look, Messi, te digo, Messi can actually cover himself with two hands, and nothing would happen. So
Listen, going back to the Paraguay game, my second question was, do you think they won and played better because they were a man down?
no, no, but I have to tell you that I felt so bad for my Turkish people. Like
Mm.
they deserved it so much. I am so my heart goes out to them, and also I am so like proud to see the fire they had in the second half and how they went for it. They tried everything they could. That's what you like to see. I thought the game was conditioned in the first with the first goal. Like I don't think anybody expected, like once you have
Yeah,
that goal and you have a team like Paraguay who's like, all right, we're set. We did everything we had to do. Let's just chill. You know?
yeah, yeah.
And
It
and
was
and
it was it was what it took like a minute for them to score. Like
that's
that
it.
just you're never expecting that. So
Right.
yeah, it puts you in a very different mindset.
Yeah.
But I think Turkey came onto this World Cup with one of those squads that people had very high expectations of, and they are just not that great, my guy.
Well,
Sorry.
they did good. They did good in the to qualify for the World Cup, and the qualifiers they did good.
I
I think
mean,
they're solid. They may not have the stars they once did. The last play where you see that Turkish forward when he hits it and it just barely misses at the last minute, and he just
mhm.
drops to the floor. This is the part where it gets sad because teams started getting eliminated now, and you're like, oh, I love the first week of the World Cup because everybody has hope. Now it's like
Yeah,
little by little,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we've been spoiled with a very good set of first round games. Like there was a lot of unexpected scores. There was a lot of unexpected little teams on paper putting up a great fight against big teams.
Yeah.
And once you get past that, once you get those out of the way, it's like, all right, I'm gonna have to separate the children from the adults, and this is starting to happen early.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next match, I'm going to imitate somebody from this game, and I want you to tell me who it was. Okay?
We'll see. Okay, which game though? Which game?
We're talking about Paraguay, Turkey.
Okay,
Okay?
go for it.
3, 2, 1.
Huh.
Who was it? You don't get another chance, dude. You got to go for it. Who was it?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Who was it?
It was the Paraguayan coach celebrating the goal. Dude, is it just me or it just really bugs me when coaches try to be so cool and their team is scoring in the World Cup?
And they don't feel it. They don't celebrate it.
I honestly feel like they do. Their heart does. Like their soul's like, yeah, yeah, motherfucker, yeah. But in there, they're trying to act so cool. Like, what do they gain? I'm just thinking, if I'm a player and I'm so happy and I see my coach, he makes me more serene. He gives me more of a zen vibe. Like, I don't see how that can possibly like help me. Like, what message are they trying to send by just being so cool that they can't
I
celebrate a goal in the
I
World Cup?
I really think I don't think they're trying to be cool. I think they are very stressed and nervous, and
No.
they are not thinking about celebrating. I think they're thinking, okay, now what do I do to maintain my score, to keep that win? That's what I
Wow.
think is going on. Like,
Wow.
and I'm saying that. I don't know if you saw the video. There's a video of Scaloni reactions to the 3-0 Argentina victory. Like every time Messi scores, he's one of those. He literally, nothing changes. His expression is completely uneventful. And I'm like, bro, can you relax? I have the same attitude as you. I'm like, can you relax? And he's just like, nothing. And I'm thinking, you are coaching Argentina. You are already winning this game. It's 3-0. Like, relax and enjoy the game. But I really don't think they think in those terms. Not
I,
just him, all of the coaches.
I just don't see the upside in it. If I am an owner of a team and somebody comes up to me, hey, it's between this coach and this coach. They're both great. Look at their resume. But this coach, he doesn't celebrate his goals. That's the one. Like, I don't see how that can help in any way. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm crazy.
No, I agree. I don't think I could contain myself. If I was a coach, you'd have me jumping up and down every time. So,
All
yeah.
right. All right. Let's move on to another game
Dale.
that had a very similar situation. Okay. Morocco, Scotland had a goal also in the very first minute. Okay, Morocco scored right away on minute 1. And the great thing about this is that Morocco continued to attack. Even after they scored, Morocco continued to attack. To me, Morocco is definitely one of the favorites because last time in the
Really?
last World Cup, last World Cup, they were a Cinderella team. Nobody saw them coming. Now you see them coming. They won the African Cup. Well,
That's
technically
true.
they didn't win. No, they didn't win it. They didn't win it. I know FIFA gave it to them for something really stupid. FIFA Gate, all that, todo lo malo de, ¿cómo se dice? Lo tramposo, all,
Lo negativo.
todo lo negativo.
Sí.
But they're one of the best in the world. And I think they're proving that they could definitely be a dark horse. Like now everybody sees them coming. They're there. And I feel like they could definitely be one of the ones to make it to the semifinals at least.
Maybe I'll give you that. Morocco is a very unexpected, pleasant surprise. I do think it's going to be a little. I do think it's going to be a little different once they played a few games and they're now having to face all these teams that on paper should easily beat them. I think Morocco is one of those teams where, and I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. This is just my opinion. I think they're going to get a little bit of starstruck for everything that is going to be happening in front of them so quickly, and they are going to shed the bed. That's how I feel about Morocco.
Okay. So you felt like last time because they were surprised, nobody saw them coming, that less pressure. This time there is more pressure, so you think that's going to affect them.
I don't think that they're gonna know how to handle that pressure, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But again, I don't know. I don't think I'm familiarized myself enough with their individual players.
Right.
I think I take that from what I've seen from them this World Cup so far.
So to sum it up, we just talked about Paraguay and Turkey. Paraguay basically scores on minute 1, and then slowly but surely Turkey just takes over and tries to do everything they can. This was exactly the same, except I guess you could say Scotland didn't have the same ability. In this case, both games were decided after a minute. We could have just basically watched the first minute and then see you later and miss the next 89. That's the end of it.
Right. That's true. Actually, I hadn't thought about it like that, but you're right. Yeah. It does put you in a very, very, very different mindset, I think, if you're the losing team. It especially if you're a team that knows if you lose, you're out, like Turkey. I think you start to play more out of desperation and a lot less organized, and that affects you. I think if they scored against me minute 1 and I put it in my head that I still have 89 plus minutes to tie and turn the game around, I'm going to do a much better job than if I freak out and I'm like, holy shit, I got to score, and then I play those 89 minutes with all of that pressure on me.
Yeah, no, I feel you. All right, let's move on to the last game.
Last one.
Day, which was Brazil, Haiti. What are your thoughts? It was 3-0. They scored 3 goals.
Yeah, man. The only thing that I feel about that game is I feel really bad and sad for Rafinha. I wish that hadn't happened. He's a phenomenal player. I think he is the driving force behind that team, and it sucks that he got injured. But I mean, yeah, they won and they scored 3 goals, but they were also playing Haiti. Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't change my opinion about them. Like all Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Kaká, Cafu, Brazil wins that game 8-0, and they are dancing samba all the way through the 90 minutes.
Yeah.
This wasn't that. So I'm not jumping off my seat to celebrate.
How early did Rafinha get hurt? Did he continue to play?
Uh, no. He didn't. I think he got injured right before halftime.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Because he had a couple of good chances and he just blew them. And I don't know if it was because, sometimes maybe he got hurt before and he's like, crap, I don't want to come out. I don't want to come out. But maybe that's what influenced him missing those couple chances. He had some good chances at the beginning.
He did, but I don't think he would do that. I think Rafinha is experienced. I think he's 30 years old or 29 years old. I think he's experienced enough to know that that would be a dumb decision. Like
Yeah.
I don't think he would do that. I think maybe like a 20-year-old Endrick might do that, but I don't think that Rafinha would do that.
Gotcha. Yeah, this was to me a very pedestrian game too, man.
Yeah, good word.
I love Brazil, bro. Like Brazil is one of the reasons we love football. You
I
know,
agree.
we grew up, maybe our teams, aquí está mi equipito, chi, 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 le, viva Chile. Like a lot of the times watching watching the World Cup, just not with our countries representing, right? So then you gravitate as a kid, you also have that innocence and you gravitate to the team that it's more attractive to you. And
Right.
Brazil was always that team. And I think that Brazil was that team to everybody in the world. They played with such joy, such charisma. Like wherever Brazil came, it was like, that's the party.
It was
You
a
know?
party. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And yesterday I was watching Vini Jr. score and him trying to dance. And it was like, no, not the same. He's trying to, you know?
And it's
Oh,
also not like you don't you I maybe it's because Vini plays for Real Madrid and I'm not a huge fan of that. But like but no, like Paqueta, I like Paqueta. I think he's a phenomenal player. But they scored and it's just like, okay, good for you, because I agree with you. I like Brazil. What their football represents for me is amazing, but this particular team doesn't make me excited. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and I guarantee you, if you ask a lot of people, it's just a very mediocre Brazil for what they are supposed to be.
Right. If they wore red shirts, red jerseys instead, if they wore red jerseys instead of the typical verde amarela, the typical yellow,
Mhm.
and you didn't know they were Brazilians, you would never guess they're Brazil. That's the Brazilian
Exactly.
national team.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I will say that I think Ancelotti is little by little turning the right screws and tightening the right bolts to make them better. I just think it's going to take them a little bit more time than they want, and it's not going to be reflected in this World Cup unless something magical happens.
Yeah. So far, I have to still tell you that my favorite team that I wasn't expecting to be a favorite has been England. Do you have any favorites yet?
Really?
Yeah, because they beat Croatia. They had 20 chances on goal.
Yes.
Brazil took another step down. Yeah, they beat Haiti 3-0, but to me, they took another step back into the favorite kind of column or category, if you call it.
Okay. Okay. I think because I know they are not completely coming out of nowhere, but I really liked what I saw from Japan.
Mm.
I like what I saw from Japan, and I think England is expected. We talked about this last time. Like, they're on paper a powerhouse. They're top five. They should get far. All of that is
A lot of
expected.
that's a lot of growth. Are you okay? Do you need a rest after all those?
I might need a break. But, all of that is expected from England. I don't think it's expected from a team like Japan. And I do think they showed discipline, they showed talent, they showed hunger. And if they continue to play like that, they may surprise everybody.
Okay.
So
On
I
that
think I
note,
think I would go besides Colombia. I think Japan. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna keep my eye on you and see.
okay, great. Now that's my favorite. I'm thinking England. It's not favorite. Like I want them to win more than anybody. My favorite, one of my favorites, still Portugal. I would love to see the history of like Ronaldo winning it all and everything. But I'm just
I
like I
know.
was saying. I was surprised. I know you know. I know you know that I know that you know. But I was just surprised to see how good England played against Croatia. That's all. But guys, what are your favorite teams? Let us know in the comments. Who so far after this first couple of weeks? Who are you still rooting for? Are your teams still in the World Cup? Your teams out? Stay still. Let us know in the comments. ¿Alguna otra cosita que agregar, Kadyr?
Do you like or don't Brazil? Tell us. I'm interested. I'm interested in knowing how people feel about that team.
Yeah. All right. You got it. We'll see you guys next time.
See you next time. Bye.